Hi everyone, it's Annabelle. Welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to show you some new shelving that I've put up for my cooler growing high elevation orchids such as masdevallias and restrepias, and I've got a couple of other odd things in here like a Miltoniopsis, Phalaenopsis and Ada or Brassia aurantiaca, which is a bit of a tricky one to keep alive in my grow room, so I've moved it down here. A couple of species like Stellis, which is a pleurophthalid type orchid, which produces these really cute little flowers, and this is the Stellis argentata, which I got sent in place of an Imarginata that I ordered, which has like tubular yellow flowers. But I actually really like this one. It's really cute. It's got really intricate little flowers. They're not particularly showy because they're so small, but I also quite like its kind of glossy leathery leaves, so it's just a super easy grower, so I'm happy with it. And one of my restrepias is currently in bloom, which is the Cupraire, which is just constantly in bloom. You can see by the number of spent spikes on it. It produces like 4 or 5 flowers per leaf. It can just keep producing over and over. It's really quite amazing. I thought I'd record down here, obviously to show you the new shelving and also kind of to show you where these guys have been living and how I'm growing them, because I think this gives you a bit more cultural information. Obviously this shelving is new. I just had them on the windowsill behind before, but they're in the same location. So thought I would talk you through a kind of DIY plant shelf idea that I had. I was looking for storage cubes and found this shelving on Groupon, and it was around £20 for 16 cube units, which just come flat packed as the individual sheets with the corners, and then you assemble them into whatever kind of arrangement you want. So I figured this would actually be really good for the windowsill because they're kind of opaque. They're not fully transparent. They let a lot of light in and obviously you can see through them, but they're also going to shield a little bit from direct sun, which is the worry with having the higher shelves, because this is a little northern exposure window that's in the corner of our lounge. It's also shaded by a tree, one of the neighbours' houses, and our neighbour's fence. So this is actually a very, very shaded exposure, which is why I've had to use artificial lights in the past. But I feel like these shelves actually brighten everything up because they're kind of whitish. They seem to reflect the light a little bit as well. So I really like them. Just giving you a quick little tour of all my masdevallias here. This one's doing really well. This is one of the ones where I got 2 divisions and put one in Ceramis, one into moss, and then ended up switching them both into Ceramis because they seem to prefer it. So all of my cooler growing orchids are in Ceramis. I've installed these little lights into the cube pod units. I also figured that having them as little pods maybe would slightly increase the humidity, although I don't really struggle with humidity on this windowsill. This is like the coldest corner of the house, which is in our lounge, which is completely backwards, but this house is not arranged amazingly. This room tends to hover between around 15 to 20 Celsius during the day, depending on when we get home, because as soon as I get home I put the heating on and it gets up to about 18 to 20, and at night tends to be around 12 to 14 degrees Celsius at the moment during winter, although in summer it's much higher, but they seem to tolerate it okay because they still have a drop in night temperature, which I think is really important for cool growers when you're growing them in a home. If it's 30 degrees Celsius during the day, they can withstand that for short periods as long as they get a little bit of a night drop to get a reprieve from that. I've got a little fan as well just propped up, and the IKEA tertial light I'm still using just for front light as well, which helps with filming, although they do now have above light from the little stick-on LEDs that I got. What I'm going to do is I'll link you to the Groupon I got this cube unit from, and also the little LED lights from Amazon. So all in all it cost me under £40, and I've still got a mass of cube sides that I can use, and I'm really happy with these LED lights. They're not obviously grow lights, they're just cool white LEDs, and just show you kind of the differences with and without the different forms of lighting. That's the front light gone off, so the tertial light is no longer on. and that's with the LED lights off as well, so you still get some natural light through. And obviously where they are, the sun will come through over the fence in the evenings in summer, but that's all it gets in summer. We never really get much light in this window, just enough to, in the peak of summer, come through and annoy us and reflect on the TV. So this doesn't, bother us at all, actually. I was a bit afraid my boyfriend wouldn't like me putting this in the window, but it seems to brighten up the corner, so he's okay with it. He's quite tolerant, but not like, he doesn't love the orchids. He just kind of puts up with them in his living space. So I've cable tied the individual LED lights onto the shelves and just drilled a little hole into the plastic. They did come with stick-on pads, but they kept falling down, so I've had to cable tie them up. But I really like the overall effect, and I thought I'd share it because it's a really, actually quite a cheap way of getting some plant shelving that's got quite a lot of space. And I feel like it really brightens up the whole corner because it's kind of reflective as well. I feel like each pod is really well lit. It gives me so much vertical space. My windowsill was just crammed, and obviously we've got all this space that we don't get much light in through, so it's just wasted. So I'm really, really happy with this new kind of setup. I just love little fun projects like this, like putting new shelves together and finding ways to utilise window space. Obviously this would be a bit of a problem in a window that you wanted lots of light let in through for your other orchids, because this probably would block the light a little bit. It would be the same kind of effect as a net curtain because it's obviously opaque, but a window that's not utilised very much, why not? Or you don't even need this up against a window, you could just have this anywhere. Really, really happy with it, actually. I've not seen this kind of shelving used for orchids before, the little cube units, but I really like it. Obviously air movement is a factor, but you can see there's gaps between each of the sides of the units. The corners don't hold them tight, and I do have the little fan on these guys. So yeah, cute little new cool growing setup that means I can have more vertical storage space for the orchids, more vertical shelf space, which is quite valuable with orchids because obviously we're in a limited space, and I seem to rapidly expand the amount of orchids I have. My masdevallias, I've had to divide a few recently, just when I was repotting them, natural divisions kind of happened, so I've got a few little divisions that I'm starting up as well. My pinguicula, you can see my little baby pings here, they just kind of fell out of the pot one day of my other pinguicula that's in flower, so I potted them up into Danish molar clay, which is very similar to Ceramis. They're doing well. This is my Ada aurantiaca, and this one is, I struggled with a similar hybrid for a long time, so I've just put this one straight into the cool zone. And my little Stellis, which is super rewarding, and I would recommend to anybody who is starting off with cool growing minis because it seems to be much less fussy even than my masdevallias. Just does really well in a Ceramis mix with moss on the top. So that's my little cool growing corner. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Bye!